Good morning, PDHP parents. It's Carrie Ann Fitzgerald from the Program for the Development of Human Potential. It's midweek, it's Wednesday, and here we are. So we're talking about See You Later, Alligator, and we have gone through a couple of things here. We set the stage, we broke some ice, we talked about the development our children go through socially and emotionally. We talked about skills in a classroom setting and how to foster that for our kids. And we talked about separation anxiety, what it is and what we can do to work with it. So today, one of the things that we have dedicated today for is some of the skills that as parents, as the teachers, as the adults in the room, we want to see occur in a classroom and really throughout our kids' lives. So that idea is the building of kindness, okay? So when we talk about building kindness, we talk about being able to have this emotional literacy, naming different feelings. And of course, for young kids, that's gonna look like I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm glad. And as they get older, they're able to see all the variations of that. Positive feelings and negative feelings, okay? Very important to discuss it, to explore it. So the ways we can do that is sharing times when we've had a feeling like that. We build, again, that empathy, that understanding. When you talk about maybe a time that you were happy, you invite your child to share that time that they felt happy as well. We can note the feelings of others, whether it's in conversation, whether it's in noticing and observing those around us, whether it's perhaps in a show that you're watching, in a book that you're reading. Noting the feelings that you believe these characters are going through and why. What's the evidence maybe behind that? Okay. We can use these feelings to teach our kids about what we call assertive behavior. Now, when we teach behaviors to kids, when we teach that science in some of the classrooms, prevention education specialists do this very well, they talk about passive behavior, assertive behavior, and aggressive behaviors. So of course, right down the line, we want to teach people to be assertive. So let's think back a little bit. So I brought up the idea of empathy. That's kind of a catchphrase that goes along. As a former teacher, I can tell you there are two great things about empathy. The first great thing about empathy is that it is a strong character trait. To be able to put yourself in a situation and see a perspective and see a feeling from another's builds kindness, builds a lot of understanding, opens a lot of doors. But here's the catch. Empathy is actually part of our higher ordered thinking processes. So now you're also giving your kids a great cognitive learning processing skill. So you get like a 2-for-1 there, a little BOGO, all right? So think about that. One of the things that you could do is role play different social emotional scenarios. Now again, remember what we said. Learning, it's awkward. It becomes awareness. It becomes automatic. So for us as parents, Carrie Ann's telling me to role play these different scenarios. That is bizarre. It sounds bizarre. It will feel bizarre. A lot of us didn't grow up with that. But it is something that we can do to prepare our children. And here's the thing. As parents, we will do and try anything to make our children succeed, to give them progress, to give them safe spaces, right? So you have this time with these little kids, and I'm going to tell you something. They love role play. Think of the play that they do now. They play different roles in life. They act out these different scenarios. So you're basically speaking their language. They see it as play, pure and simple, time with you, pure and simple. So for them, this is great. For you, you are getting that playtime, you are getting that quality time, and you're also using this as a teaching tool for them. Kids have no qualms with this. But think about this. The get-go is that you're going to set them up so that they could know what to do if a scenario like this occurs in real time, and you're not there to guide it, okay? And I like to say this now because when I bring this up to our older students, maybe our middle school students, parents are like, ooh, I can't do that. I can't get into doing that with the kids. That's not part of our thing. If you start it now, like I said, it becomes aware and automatic. It just becomes a part of what you do. When we talked about passive, it's kind of like that you let things go and you don't address them. On the other hand, aggressive is really coming with force, okay? So assertiveness gives kids this ability to stand up for themselves and do it in a manner that's respectful to all involved. And you can get these things in. It sounds like, oh, great, Carrie-Ann's giving me one more thing to do. Thanks a lot. But no, think about how you do a lot of multitasking already. So just kind of sliding this in. Maybe if you're in the middle of the chore or if you're cooking, this helps you to maybe get your child to be focused so that you can get all of these things done. You can do this role play game. You know, how would you feel if? What would you do if? You know, it gives our kids that feeling vocabulary. It teaches a little bit of body language. It helps us to notice, like if we're looking at a character, we can say, oh, you know, I kind of get that that character is really happy because she's clapping her hands when grandpa comes over to her house. Something like that. And we're making it fun. So we're getting that playtime in. Emotional literacy also establishes an emotional intelligence. It also gives you that bonding that you'd like to have with your child. It gives that play that they look for. And like I said, we did not always do these things as we grew up ourselves. Our parents maybe did not know about them or didn't find that way, but we can always play around with different techniques. Even think about drawing happy and sad faces and asking about, you know, how did you feel like this at all today? Did you feel like that at all today? And as they get older, you can establish, you know, other words for sadness. You know, I'm disappointed, I feel rejected, whatever it is. You could play feelings charades with them. What are the actions that you would see someone take part in who has not told you that they're mad, but may actually be mad? What are the things that people do? And see what they say. What emotion is it? What am I feeling, right? As they get older, you can use index cards to identify and to act out all of those feelings. The big thing with empathy that we need to be very aware of today is that our lifestyle of technology has grown very fast. And as an educator, it's something that I've seen in the classroom evolve and evolve and evolve. But unfortunately, it kind of dissolves these other things that are going on unless we really use that tech for our advantage. So one of the things that tech has done in the past few years, in a negative sense, is take away a sense of empathy between people. We could say whatever we want to this screen, but we don't see the feeling behind the recipient of that message. So I could say to you, your hair looks awful today. It goes nowhere. But if I said it to your face, there would be a shift. I would notice a change in your face. I'd notice a change in your body language, in the air between us. And that would give me that sense of empathy. And as a kid, maybe I'd go home, I wouldn't have said sorry to you, but it would hit me later on. I would notice that shift. I would feel that. That's empathy. Our kids don't get that behind a screen. So think about appropriate media sources as well when working with your kids. And we do a whole thing on tech, usually for older high school, middle school age children, but I always say, come along and join us at every age, because you want to see what's next. You want to see what to build on now. But I can tell you that there's an appropriate media source or two that's out there that I love. Some of them I share online here on Facebook. One is commonsense.org. It's really user-friendly. You can get a quick hit of what you're looking for and what the age-appropriate rating would be. imom.org is another one. They have an offshoot called idad.org, idad.org. Family First, Cool Moms Tech. These are all very helpful resources that I go to, and I will be able to share that as we go along. So think about that today. Think about those ways that we can build kindness. Who doesn't need a little more kindness in their lives, right? And if we could start with the little ones, wow, it becomes automatic, okay? I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I will see you on Friday, and we'll talk a little bit more about this, and we'll also talk about one of my favorite topics, family bonding. Take care.